particular initiative is so timely for the people of Zambia. It is a human interest kind of development because it is centered on citizens of the Republic of Zambia. Now, all these things that we are talking about, friends, have been undertaken in a space of 3 years. So I should further mention that it is important also to thank certain individuals that play a very critical role in providing leadership. Dr. Muni, who is Executive Director at the Zambia Flying Doctor Services, has been hard working day and night to turn around dilapidated institutions at the instruction and policy framework of government, proper policies put in place. Now, I should further mention, friends, that away from this particular idea of having the flying doctor, we have other institutions. As we are speaking today, we have so far embarked on a vigorous setting up of 4 level 1 hospitals. Some are done. For example, in Chifumu, it is done, equipped with scanners, X-ray machines, oxygen plant, MRI machine, which technocrats are telling us, for avoidance of doubt, that this is a magnetic resonance imaging which helps our colleagues in the health sector to diagnose conditions easily. Set up at Chifumu. The same has been done with the same equipment in Chamboli. This is Chifumu, but this now in Chamboli, same. That is another level 1 hospital. Again, the same has been done in Simuuwe, level 1 hospital, and also in Chirabombo. In Chirabombo, it is a well-known fact that for a very long time, one of the hospitals there, okay, have been undergoing construction, and for a very long time, and rehabilitation. It has had no mortuary, which is very critical in any space where human beings are. So it is expected also that another hospital will be complete in 3 to 6 months in Bwanamkubwa. This is another level 1 hospital. These are programs or initiatives being initiated by the Upnd government, and they are being commissioned, they are operational. The next point that I want to bring out on the Copper Belt alone, we are dealing with one province. We now have a construction of the first ever cancer hospital in Ndola, which will be having modern equipment. You've lost so many relatives and friends at the hand of cancer. Now, so far, it is at 70%. It is envisaged that by December it's completed. Okay? Many of you that do not know where this is located, as you are moving from Kitwe from Ndola to Kitwe, by just near the airport turn off to the right, on the left across, that is the cancer hospital that is being constructed. The other thing that is important to bring out is the state of Ndola University Teaching Hospital. This is a place that could even smell when you just walk there. Potholes all over. So what the New Dawn administration has done, with the leadership of the provincial minister, was to bring together the business community, Zambia National Service, and those that administer in CDF, put their hands together to do surrounding roads at the hospital, to bring it to a level that befits human habitation. And today, as we speak, these projects have been done. Government, through President Techet, had released 14 million kwacha for rehabilitation works to be done in words. The same thing has been done at Kitwe University Teaching Hospital, which was seen, or which institution was seen as a death trap, where it is sitting. Underneath, there was a pool of water which was coming from unknown sources. They were merely pumping that water when the UPND came into leadership. Found that they were pumping that water to a certain destination. That has been resolved. We found there was no oxygen plant which was functional. It has been addressed. Working with cooperating partners. And today as we speak, those problems thing of the past. The other thing that we found was that they never even had a functional laundry. You know, that is a huge hospital. They have to take those beddings that patients use to laundry. Can you imagine that? The time that UPND came into leadership, they were getting this, we found that they were getting this linen to Mufurira. When they are done, then they bring it back. Because you know things that are used in the hospital cannot just be washed anyhow. Then they would bring them back. It is a thing of the past. The laundry issue has been addressed. And we are no longer taking this linen to Mufurira. In addition to that, UPND at provincial level, as a party, have even adopted the maternity wing so that they can find the ways and means of contributing as part of the responsibility that we should have, all of us. Same rehabilitation works have been going on at Kalulushi General Hospital. UPND, again there, has contributed towards the rehabilitation of the surrounding roads around the hospital, working with our colleagues that are administering Constituency Development Fund. As a matter of fact, we do recognize that CDF is no longer 1.6 million. It is found almost in every sector because of how much it is. Previously, the 1.6 million would not do some of these activities that we are talking about. So what the Copper Belt Ministry has done, the minister, through the initiatives under the UPND, was to also drag together the private sector players, KCM, among others, different business communities, so that a common ground is found for them to find a way of contributing. Some cooperating partners have adopted mortuaries. Some have adopted car parks as a way of trying to revitalize the spirit that Copper Belt once had. Some have undertaken the activities to do with doing pavers, and also others renovating wards. These are initiatives that we have undertaken. The Minister for Copper Belt, Matambo, has also adopted a ward at Kalulushi General Hospital, which is a positive in his individual capacity to find a way of trying to meet the requirements or the standards that people would want. A brand new shelter has been put up there. A brand new mortuary unit has been put up there in Kalulushi. So, CDF, as I mentioned, has done the surrounding area. Nchanga, which is found, Nchanga General Hospital is found in Chingwal. Using CDF, works around the hospital have been done because the surrounding area was dilapidated. And I wish to also mention that the supply of medicine to many of these health institutions on the Copper Belt at a point that we took over government was at 30%. Remember, there was a research that was done by an independent institution, of course, which published a document that government could not adopt in totality because obviously of certain gaps. A research cannot always be 100%. They, of course, projected the picture in 2022 of 53% of medical supplies, purchasing of medicine and medical supplies. Copper Belt today stands at around 80 to 90%. Now I want to also be very, very clear on one important aspect on how Zambia's hierarchical organization in terms of health has been done. I should also be quick to mention that the health post, what we call health posts, could have been maybe constructed under CDF, or it has been in existence, we may have found it somewhere. It is not equipped with specialized treatment. So I want to just contextualize issues and carefully deliver the message of increase in terms of purchase of medicine and medical supplies. That health posts, for example, would be giving or attending to first aid services. What that means is that you're not going to find a gynecologist there. You're not going to find a pediatrician there. You may not find a midwifery there, midwife, because it's not specialized. It offers first aid medicine. Why am I talking about contextualizing? Is because you have a person who has a terminal illness of cancer and they go to a health post and they expect, maybe it's cervical cancer, they expect to find a specialist at a health post. It would not happen. Not because government has not done that or anything, but that is how hospitals, clinics, or the health sector, almost world over, is structured. That is why there are ambulances. Even in developed countries, you have specialized hospitals. Then there will be those hospitals that will be in a certain level, we will lack certain specialized services. Then they'll put ambulances there. When the issue is critical and it is of a nature of a midwifery, there is a referral. Not that the clinic, which has an ambulance, is ill-equipped, but because that is how our health sector is structured, like in any other jurisdiction. I thought I needed to contextualize. The health post will not have a dentist. Sometimes it may just maybe, it may not even have a medical doctor, but maybe a clinician. Okay? So that is what I thought I needed to put context to it. So several clinics have been built on the copper belt, and when it comes to building more hospitals, new ones, 2 hospitals are being set up. One in Fuanyama, the other one in Pongwe. Again, I must mention that government working with cooperating partners, one of them with the support of Kajem Mine. For those of you that believe the mining sector is contributing nothing. So, in Mufurila as well, general works are being completed. In Masaiti, we are upgrading it to phase 2, because phase 1 was already done. And because in Masaiti, the hospital had no electricity, it has been equipped with that facility. Chidilabombo, I mentioned, it had no mortuary. And now, phase 1, okay? The phase 2, we will include the setting up the mortuary, because it has had no mortuary there. So the maternity wing has been done as well. And further, Copper Belt alone has attracted a recruitment of over 3,000 health workers alone, from the pool of all the health workers we have recruited in over 3 years. Which to us is a positive, because that over 3,000 in 3 years could not be realized previously, even in a space of 5 years, because of employment freeze. So it's an achievement which we cannot downplay. Why is it important for us to talk about these things? It is only us and those of our colleagues that are in government that can tell a story. And of course, journalists have the role to engage the beneficiaries to also tell a story. But these are things that have been done. Now, as I get to the end of this particular presentation, I should also mention that a health nation is a wealth nation also. Because even at household level, if breadwinners are sick and there are no proper medical services, then there will be no bread on the table for the family. And I wish to also...
Thank you very much, Director, for that elaborate presentation. We have already indicated that we continue documenting our achievements sector by sector. I would now like to invite questions from members of the press who would like to get clarity on the presentation which has been done this morning. Yes, I can see a hand. And introduce yourself and the media organization you're coming from.
Good morning, Director.
Good morning.
Joseph Kamanga from the Red Post. Okay, so what happens mostly is that when we document, we write these stories in the post about most of the achievements that the government has done. What we usually notice in our comment section is that most of the people that come and comment say there's a lot, for lack of a better word, let me speak freely like the way they say it. There is much talk, but they don't get to see these things. Do you understand what I mean? Like, there's much coming from each side, but they don't get to see these things. So, I'm thinking, how about you facilitate site visits to these to these things that are, to these developmental sites. So that people get to see that truly the UPND are doing something.
Okay, noted.
Okay.
Another question? I saw a hand. Okay, I think that's the only question at the moment. Director, you may wish
Thank you
to
very much.
respond to that.
Remember that we had announced that we were planning to get to the copper belt.
Yes.
Now, the moment we are the step, in fact, the time we are planning to get to the copper belt, I think within a week or so, we had the state funeral, which dragged, and the other things came on board. So when we had the state funeral last time, the project was abandoned. Not abandoned, but suspended. That's not the right term. To a later date. This morning I was talking to the provincial minister for copper belt about the same programs. Okay? Because we wanted to be on the same wavelength, so that you hold us accountable on the things that we are talking about when we get on the copper belt. So that program is still there. I was talking to Honorable Matambo, Elisha, about the same site visits. It is a whole lot of programs. So he was actually proposing that these are things that you are not going to do in one day. As we get to the copper belt, according to him, we need at least 3 days to come play. Yeah. So that we start with different sectors that we have talked about. We look at the roads because you can only do a particular sector in one day. To deal with, for example, the other issue that we talked about last time, my brother, the Masangano Isenge to Rwansha, which some of you have already seen. And I agree with you, comments will come like that, just like journalists here. If you are asked about Lusaka, what CDF has done, very few of you are, but you live in Lusaka will tell me. And yet you have Makishi Road here, it has been done. It has been expanded. You have Acacia, it's Acacia Road. When we are going to Upnd, it's been done, CDF. Then you go further in Minu, CDF busy doing the roads. I was just telling my colleagues that once after we have visited the local authorities in Osaka, we will also visit these areas. You so that we can actually see what is happening. It is okay. Someone on Facebook will not see what is happening if they live in Chibolia. They will not see what is happening in Upnd. But the one who lives around the area will know that the road has been done. Just the same Akisha I'm talking about, where you are not digging because you've seen it. You ask another citizen, another resident of Lusaka, from maybe from Baure, they'll tell you they have never seen it. So it's normal. But that's again politics. We try to separate publicity of information that is factual from the politicking that goes on social media. So when information of that nature comes, they say, no, we're not seeing anything. What we want to do in order to resolve that particular problem is exactly what we are proposing, which we have talked about before. Even the solar plant that you went to cover, there are people who are posting on social media that no, that's not in Zambia. It's a long time ago. So it's normal. We see those things. The water program, that dam which was abandoned, which was completed. The president went and then commissioned. They said, hey, why are you commissioning other people's programs? Government is a process. Government is a process. When people have gone up to a certain level, you take up and finish. And remember that it was not just a pattern being passed. Those were abandoned when they still had the time on their side. On the floor of Parliament, the projects that are not done by 80% will discontinue. Reason, we are paying through our nose the money that we owe. So, I agree with you. We will get there. It is a program that we have actually put in place. And I was discussing with the Copper Belt Minister about the same program, that it will be important that we visit these mortuaries. But he said, look, when you come, I don't expect you to come with journalists in one day. At least stay for 3 days so that we take you to different sites. I said, agreed. It's one of the things that we can do, including those words that he has adopted himself, so that we can now appreciate. Copper Belt is not as widespread as Lusaka, where you have to drive on a dilapidated road to another area for many hours in order to get to another town. Most of those towns are close to each other. In one day, you can move to Chirabombwe. You appreciate the road that we started and completed and commissioned in 2 years. Chingola, Chirabombwe, to Kasumbalesa. Even when we show that road, someone will wake up and say, no, that is Zimbabwe. We've seen those comments. So, but they don't bother us, because the people that voted for the UPND in Chirabombwe are already seeing what we're talking about. Okay? So, when we get there, we will need now citizens to tell a story. It is also a well-known fact that when we're talking about these percentages in terms of purchase of medicine and medical supplies, we are not going to satisfy the over 22 million Zambians at above. There will still be problems in different places. So that is a notorious fact that we need to go with. That is not to say that, Darakai mentioned that when I was trying to contextualize, people are given some prescriptions because there is a law that allows government to certify certain institutions under NEMA, especially pharmacies, to be able to give medicine. Someone is given a prescription and they are told, go to that pharmacy, there, they will give you don't need to pay. When they go there, they go complaining that, why are you giving me a prescription because you told me this? But that is part of the policy. To allow, that's how NEMA is operating. Government and cooperating partners. So this is part of the information that you need to reach out to the people. And when you talk about the medical supplies, a number of you I know, you must be appreciated as journalists. You've done packages. There is a kit for medicine. For example, that kit may not be available in certain centers, but it will be available in certain centers in areas which are prone to malaria. And they do it deliberately. There are areas that have serious malaria, and there will be these, dynamics that you are likely to witness. And as I mentioned, the right message to the people is that when they go to the health post and they want to be amputated, they are given Panadol. They should not complain because a health post does not have that kind of specialized service. That's the context we want to put. That they can only find that service at a specialized hospital. And there is nothing wrong with that. All countries work that way. And that is the reason we have ambulances. I think I end here. Waman, thank you.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. That is just to underscore our mandate of development as the United Party for National Development. Shall we be upstanding as we sing the national anthem and we close in the word of prayer?
Stand and sing of Zambia, proud and free, land of wealth and